After a slow start for both teams on Saturday, number 4 LSU came back to easily beat number 3 Oregon behind a strong showing from its defense. Given the domination we saw from LSU and the struggles we also saw from Alabama's quarterbacks, do you think LSU should be the favorite in the SEC?
You know, I really don't know if I would call it domination. Leading up into the third quarter, the game was very close. I believe it was 16-13 LSU, and then you've got LeMichael James has his ankle stepped on. He's out. Kenyon Barner, I believe, cramped up. He's out. And so then you bring in third-string DeAnthony Thomas, who fumbles twice. LSU scores off both. It forces Darren Thomas to throw. His stats, he threw 54 times, which was the highest of his career. Previously to that, hadn't thrown any more than 40 times, and that was in the national championship against Auburn. And then that comes also with losing Jeff Mail and DJ Davis, top 2 wide receivers in 2010. So I think the jury's kind of still out on both of these teams. LSU definitely a good performance. I don't know if I'd call it dominating. Now, I will say this. We see a lot of commemorative games over the course of the years. Chris Paul with his 70-something points for his grandma. You've got Jarrett Lee here. I believe he wanted to commemorate this game to Jordan Jefferson. 98 passing yards. I think it was one for each shoe that was taken from Jefferson's apartment.
Absolutely.
Well, after taking an early lead against Boise State, things completely fell apart for the Georgia Bulldogs. The defense had no answer for the Broncos quarterback, Kellen Moore. The Bulldogs lost 35-21. Was this merely a loss to a superior team, or were the Bulldogs a little overhyped, Hilary?
Well, Chris, obviously, judging by the score, the Bulldogs, I overhyped a little, and Boise State basically made me eat my words from last week because, as you guys could see, Georgia just did not perform how people thought they were going to perform, or at least how I thought they were going to perform, because judging by that score and the silly plays they were making, I don't know, I don't think they're back to the old Georgia, and I really thought they were going to come out and showcase and, you know, just make everyone eat it, be like, you know what, we're ranked 19th, we deserve to be higher than that, we're the old Georgia, we've had a rebuilding year, we're back together, we're a great team, and we're going to pull this out. But they obviously didn't pull it out, and Boise State definitely showed why they're ranked number 2.
And I'm with you. I was one that was guilty of buying into the preseason hype around Georgia. I really thought, I called it last week on the show. I thought they were going to beat Boise State. But then Aaron Murray really disappointed me this past week. Struggled with his decision making, sacked 6 times because of that, and kind of breakdowns in coverage. So from that standpoint, I was really disappointed. I just don't think they're on the same level as they have been. Now, when we come back, we'll tell you if Georgia can bounce back next week in a huge early season matchup in the SEC East. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. The Georgia Bulldogs won't have long to mourn their loss as they welcome South Carolina to Athens this Saturday in a game that could eventually decide the SEC East. The Gamecocks struggled early against East Carolina before Stephen Garcia came off the bench to lead them to a win last week. Who do you see emerging victorious in this game, Hilary?
Well, Chris, what is the most interesting to me is the fact that between the quarterbacks, it's going to be a hometown showdown. Aaron Murray's from Tampa, Stephen Garcia's from Tampa, and I really think it's going to be interesting to see how they play against each other. And I think both of these teams have something to prove this weekend because, as you know, both of them did not play up to par as people thought they were going to play, and I really think they're going to show who's the better team by how they play this weekend, because a lot of people aren't expecting much from them due to their performance in the past week.
If you know Steve Spurrier, you know he's one of the most unique coaches in college football as far as the way he approaches his players. And we also know that he likes to get in the heads of his own players, and he loves to get in the heads of his opposing coaches. Think about all the battles he's had in his days in the SEC. And I'd be willing to bet you that Spurrier is announcing that Connor Shaw was going to be the starter for South Carolina before this game against East Carolina was a way for him to motivate Stephen Garcia to play better when Garcia went in the game, because he knows Garcia has been successful. Garcia had wins last year, and Spurrier is proud to say, against Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and also Florida, all in the same season. And so that's why I think that he's going to stick with Garcia for the rest of the season.
The way that he set it up, and I don't know if he was trying to get in Garcia's head or not, it almost cost him the game, down 17-0 in the first quarter. That being said, I do like South Carolina this weekend. I think they're a completely different team with Garcia. He came off the bench and just ignited that offense. And also a stat that I want to point out, Georgia doesn't have a defensive back over 6'2". Alshon Jeffrey, South Carolina star receiver, 6'4". I think they're going to have the deep ball, the jump ball all day, just like they had against Alabama last year in that upset.
All right, well, Jeffrey is certainly mentioned by many as possibly being the best all-around receiver in the country this year. Well, coming back from the break, we'll sit down with the big dog at MSU. Our athletic director, Scott Stricklin, will talk to us about current state of Bulldog athletics, as well as what Mississippi State has in store for the future.